Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open. Chicago with the lead. Harper got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Tying run at second, 2 out. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it and to the middle with the 15 to the 20. Breaks free of the 25 to the 30 to the outside. 40 midfield. 40 30 to the coast. 20 15 Hester 5. Oh! Touchdown!
Slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it toward Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning. In the afternoon on this TGI Mickey Ficky Friday. It's the weekend, baby. And I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, what? Come on, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. But wait, there's more. Go to the show's page. Go to Shawn and Maya in the morning, like that page as well. So not only will you be following Sports Zone Chicago, but you'll be following Shawn and Maya in the morning as well. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real, come on, man. Go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button. But also click the notification button. That's the little bell right next to it, and that'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. Now, if you're watching this on our mobile app, what are we doing here? If you're watching this on our mobile app, come on, man. Don't tell me you didn't know we had a mobile app. What is wrong with you? You have a mobile app. So do us a favor. Go wherever you get your apps from. And it doesn't matter where you get your apps from. Just go there. Type in Sports Zone Chicago. Download it. So you can take us with you on the go. So not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, and not only are they archived there like they are on Facebook and YouTube, but I'll tell you what, we give you a slew, and I mean a slew of articles. Thanks to my man Clarence, Counsel III. Big up to Clarence for keeping you abreast of all articles Chicago sports related. Now, if you're watching this on Roku channel, I like that kind of party, baby. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. Sports Zone Chicago. We have our own Roku channel. So if you have a Roku television in the house, do us a favor. Do us a favor. Do us a solid, yeah? Go to your television, download Sports Zone Chicago's channel right to your TV. Put us there. Put us right there next to the big boys. Netflix, Hulu, Apple Plus, HBO Max, Prime, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Stars. Man, I miss Power Books, man. Killing me. Smalls are killing me. But anyway, I digress. I digress. Anyway, make sure you download Sports Zone Chicago's channel to your television and watch it on the big screen. We're on the big screen, right, Mickey Ficky, now. No. You can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at Sports Zone Shy. That's CHI at Sports Zone Shy. But if you want to follow me, it's me personally online. You want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. All right. If you want to follow my lovely co-host Maya Kai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. If you want to follow her on Instagram, follow her at Maya_Kai. It's MAYA_AKAI. Man, we got a great show for you, but I need you to get interactive. So whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or our mobile app, leave a question or comment on that platform. It'll come up here on the thread. We'll put it up on the screen. We'll incorporate it into the show. And that, my peoples, is what makes this the best morning, although it's in the afternoon today, Chicago sports talk show around. That's you. So bring them all, baby. Questions, comments, smart-ass remarks, because ain't nobody scared over here. Like The Rock said, don't sing it, baby. Just bring it. Let's check the chat. Chat is going. Let's see. Cornelius Squall's in the house early. What up, what up, what up? Sports Donors. A win Sunday puts the Bears in second place in the NFC North. Let's go. Okay. Michelle Walls checks in. Mickey Ficky, TGI afternoon. Yes, TGIF afternoon and bear down. Yes, sir, Bob. Thank you very much. My man Armando Emeterio Lara Jr. My man Junior's in the house. What's up, buddy? How are you? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Patty Lara and Jeremiah are in the house. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Or good afternoon. I gotta get used to this new time. Well, just for today anyway. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Well, Jeremiah, you go get your nap in, okay? And you just listen to the sound of my voice as it rocks you to sleep. I don't know what that's all about. Blue face. There we go. There we go. Man, so at 3:30, we have Kelsey Nicole Nelson, award-winning journalist from D.C. area, former beat writer for the Washington Commanders. She's going to come on and give us a DC perspective of this matchup on Sunday. So Kelsey Nicole Nelson at 9:30 at 3:30. I got to get used to the time today, the change. So 3:30, Kelsey Nicole Nelson coming on talking Bears, Commanders from a DC perspective. And at 4:00, my man Evan Winter from A to Z Sports, he's going to join us, and he's going to talk this matchup from both sides because he covers both for A to Z Sports. So we're going to have him at 4:00 to finish up the show. I'm excited. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. We got Bulls to talk about. The Bulls had a game on Wednesday, opening game of the season. Blackhawks are playing. The Bulls are playing. The Blackhawks are playing. World Series is going on. Lord have mercy. NFL football is on. Whew, are we in heaven or what? Actually, it would be better if our baseball teams were in the World Series, but that's another story. But still a great time for sports and a lot of sports to talk with your boy today. I'm a little excited. It's what do we got? It's a nice day out there. What, 60-something degrees out there today? Okay. Out here in Orland, it's 66. I got 66 degrees. 66 degrees out here. Beautiful, beautiful day. Fall day. It's a nice day. A nice little jacket, a little hoodie weather, a little light jacket. Yeah, it's supposed to be warmer tomorrow. Let me see. Let me look at this real quick. Oh, it's supposed to drop tomorrow. So it's supposed to drop high of 58 tomorrow. And then 60 Sunday, 66 Monday, 79. Going to hit almost 80 again on Tuesday, 75, and then we get back to the 60s and 50s. So for those of you who don't know, those of you who live here know, but those of you who don't live here, you don't know Chicago's weather. Chicago's weather is extremely bipolar. That's why people get sick here all the time. But anyway. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This game got flexed. 3:25. The afternoon game. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to be watching it. But it's going to be wherever it is going to be one hell of a time. So definitely looking forward to that. Well, listen, let's get it started a little bit. Guys. You know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
See, which way do we go? I know which way do we go.
Basketball, and now you trust your teammates to make the right read.
No, wrong one. The Bulls recap. The Bulls from Wednesday. Man, that was a tough one. On Wednesday, the Bulls fell to the New Orleans Pelicans, 123-111. Zach LaVine, he led the way with the Bulls, 27 points, 5 rebounds. Nikola Vucevic, Mr. Walking Double, 21 and 11. Josh Giddey, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Lonzo Ball in his first regular season game back, 5 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Bulls got off on they started off the season on a bad note, on a losing note, unfortunately, but there's 81 more games left to go. Speaking of that, the Bulls, they travel to Brewtown to face the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. Yeah, that tip-off is at 7 p.m. Central Time. You can catch that game on Chicago Sports Network as long as you don't have Comcast. Or you can listen to it on their flagship station, 670 a.m. They're still having issues. How long is this going to go on? How far into the season before they get a deal done? Crazy. The Bulls are busy because the next top of the morning topic is the Bulls tomorrow. They come back home to host the OKC, Oklahoma City Thunder, at the United Center. That tip-off is also at 7 o'clock. You can catch that game on Chicago Sports Net as long as you don't have Comcast. And listen to that game or listen to their flagship 670 a.m. That is still crazy to me. They knew about this for over a year, and they still couldn't get it hammered out. You know, apparently the sticking point is that the Bulls wanted to be part of the basic cable package. But what Comcast is saying is like, no, it's going to be in our upper tier. See, everybody's always trying to not rip people off, but it's always upcharging people. So there's going to be the basic cable. Then there's going to be an upper tier where it has all the regional sports channels. So Marquee Network's is going to be on that. You're going to have to pay for that. It's not going to be on regular Comcast anymore. You have to pay to get the top tier on Comcast to get the Marquee Network. Chicago Sports Network, the same thing. So you talk about this greedy mother hubbers, man. That's just bullshit. That's just some straight bullshit. Upcharging you so you can get the sports packages. I mean, they don't charge us enough. Cable's not enough. But you know what they're doing? They're doing it because of all the streaming things. They're doing it because a lot of people have cut the cord. I know I got a couple of good friends of mine who have a great deal where they get every single channel in the country for $30 a month. In the country. My guy in Arizona has it. We were able to watch NBC Sports Chicago from the Bay Area, Chicago, New York, anywhere, Bally's, anywhere. The local news spots, ABC, NBC, CBS in Chicago, Dallas, Austin, Miami, LA, Frisco, Jersey, Philly. We were able to catch all of those. And for $30 a month. $30 a month. So cable's losing out. And they're losing out because they were greedy. They've been greedy. They were greedy. They are greedy. They're going to continue to be greedy. So once more and more people find out about these things, and just ask your friends. There's a chance that your people might know somebody who has that type of service. I mean, you can't go wrong. Every single channel, every single pay-per-view. But man, it's something crazy. Cable companies are charging us an arm and a leg, and it's frustrating. Very frustrating. The next topic, the Blackhawks, baby. Here come the Hawks, the mighty Blackhawks. Blackhawks host the Trashville Predators tonight at the United Center. Puck drop is at 7:30 Central. You can catch that game on ESPN Plus and Hulu. Not on Chicago Sports Net. ESPN Plus and Hulu tonight, or you can listen to them on their flagship station, 7:20 a.m. So the Bulls and the Blackhawks are doing a little dipsy-do, a little dancing. Hawks are home, Bulls on the road. Tomorrow, Bulls are home. The Blackhawks travel to Dallas. Big D, Dallas, Texas tomorrow. Tomorrow night for a date with the Stars. Puck drop is at 7 o'clock Central Time. That game can be on Chicago Sportsnet Plus, or you can listen to that game on 7:20 a.m. They're doing a little dipsy-do, a little dance. They want to dance with somebody who loves them. Oh, my goodness. Let's check it out. Oh, snap, my man. Edwin. Edwin's in the house. Good morning, Papa. Thank you for tuning in. He's like, what up, SuperBack? Edwin's in the house. That's what I'm talking about. See, it's a little later in the day, so he's up. He's able to check it out. I appreciate you. I appreciate you big time. Yeah, but Shawn says the stubbornness between Chicago Sports Network and Comcast. Well, Comcast hasn't even given him a proposal. This is what the people at Chicago Sports Network are saying. Haven't even given a proposal. Obviously, they have Chicago Sports Network has to agree to be on the upper tier, and they're not doing it. They're not doing it. So fans are the ones caught in the crosshairs. Fans are the ones caught in the crosshairs. Oh man, Mondo, he says YouTube TV, man. My guy Edwin, manager over at Outputs, said I'm buying a hot box. I hear you. Levette Lee's checking in the house. Good morning, Mama. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. But yeah, this happens a lot. Do you remember this happened to the Dodgers? I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago, the Dodgers went and created their own network. All right. They created their own network, and the biggest cable provider out in Southern California didn't carry it. Didn't carry the Dodgers' own regional sports network. And Dodger fans were pissed. As you can imagine. You know, all the Vatos were like, hey, what up, Holmes? Why can't we watch those Dodgers, hey? That almost happened to the Yankees. It almost happened to the Yankees with their, I forgot who the cable provider is over there and the Yes Network. But the Yankees they own like MSNBC or something like that. Oh, goodness. They own one of the news channels that's like it's a staple. That's a staple. And so they had some leverage. But many people don't have that leverage. Many people don't have that leverage. So anyway, I digress. Let's see who, man, people are checking in like crazy. I like it. Edwin says, happy to finally catch you live. Glad you could catch me, Papa. I'm glad you could catch me. It's good stuff. Good stuff. But the next top of the morning topic. Now we're done with those things. The Bears. The Bears travel to the nation's capital, D.C., to face the Washington Commanders on Sunday. The game was flexed. Remember, we told you about that, and I think you've heard of it. We weren't the first people to tell you. But the game got flexed. So it got flexed from a 12 o'clock start to a 3:25 start, a national game of the week. People are going to check it out on CBS. Yeah, baby. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, they travel to face the Washington Commanders, who are surprisingly, they were a big surprise. They are a big surprise. They're in first place as well. Where are they at? The Washington Commanders, 5-2, atop the NFC East. However, this is going to be the matchup between the number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, on the Bears, and the number 2 overall pick, Jaden Daniels, by the Commanders. However, Jane Daniels has not practiced due to some sore ribs. Marcus Mariota has been getting the first team reps in practice. So it looks as if. And the head coach has been saying that Jane Daniels is week to week, not day to day. So it looks like, in leaning toward the matchup not happening. Jane Daniels is leading has a crazy completion percentage with a high 70% completion rate. Got his team in first place. This was a team that I thought that was going to be a pushover when the season started, which is why you can't ever truly predict the season. When they say, "Oh, what's the record for the season?" Like, you don't know who the teams are. You don't know what they are, what they're going to be. So when people say that, and when I tell them I can't do it, they get annoyed. I'm like, I can't. Here's a case in point. Look at Minnesota. I know Minnesota lost 2 games in a row now, but damn, nobody thought they were going to be to 5-0 at one point. No one. So it's tough because you don't know how things go. You don't know how teams are going to gel. You don't know the chemistry that they're going to have. Is it going to click sooner than later at all? I don't know. But there's a lot of storylines. Caleb Williams going back to his hometown. He's from D.C. My guy, my college teammate, one of my good friends, Randy Trivers, was the head coach at Gonzaga in D.C. He's going back home. Lord knows how many tickets he has to get. He gets 2 away tickets, and he has to buy the rest. Now, what he can do, what we used to do in college, is you can give them away. So if you have people, say there's someone from California whose parents aren't going to make it, or whatever, wherever you're from, you can give your tickets to somebody else, or just put whoever's name on there, but you got to buy them. After that, you got to buy them, and you get them at a discounted rate, but you still got to buy them. Still got to buy them, and there's got to be easily 100 people wanting to go see Caleb. Easily, because the kid was the shit back at Gonzaga. Him going home, many people thought that with the hiring of Cliff Kingsbury, that the Bears were going to trade the number 1 pick. I did. I definitely thought they were going to trade the number 1 pick to Washington for the Hall, which I would have done still, but it's neither here nor there. Ni modo. But that's one storyline. Another storyline is DJ Moore. Last year had over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns against this team. People are going to talk about, can he duplicate it? That's going to be a tough task, a tall task. But it is one of the storylines. And another storyline is Montez Sweat, a team that traded him from the Washington Commanders to the Chicago Bears last season. And Montez Sweat is happy here. He said he's happy to be at a place where people want him, where he's wanted. And understandable. We all want to be a place where we're wanted. He got traded to a place that wanted him. They showed how much they wanted him by giving him the $98 million contract, $96 million contract. And he's happy. It's not much of a revenge game, he said. He's happy. Why would you want to get revenge on a team that sent you to a place that eventually signed you for about $100 million? I'd be like, thank you. Thank you very much. No revenge game necessary. He just needs to go out and play as a professional. Is all we're asking. But it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a real good game, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it later in the show. We're going to talk a lot of Bears today. A lot of Bears. Let's see who else is checking in. James Ford checking in. What's up, Papa? How are you? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. James Ford checking in the house. Yes, it's still number 1 overall pick, Heisman winner versus number 2 overall pick, Heisman winner. It is Heisman versus Heisman. Yep. If he plays, I don't know if he's going to play. We hope. We hope. But anyway, listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to get into some Bulls talk, some World Series talk. All right, so don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. A special edition, an afternoon edition of Shawn and Maya in the morning. So keep it locked here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Sports Zone Chicago.
Many will hear the calling. Few will earn the title. United States Marine. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings.
I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
We are looking for a few heroes, mentors, trailblazers, innovators, a passion to change lives, spark curiosity, open hearts, and awaken minds, help students answer the question, who am I? This could be your calling, but this is no job. It's the journey of a lifetime. Be a hero. Be a teacher.
Mental health and learning disorders don't discriminate. 17 million children and adolescents in the United States live with disorders like anxiety, depression, ADHD, and dyslexia. Less than half get the help they need to thrive. Help the Child Mind Institute change these children's lives. Visit childmind.org.
And now you trust your teammates to make the right read.
Getty, the acquisition with Vucevic. And that's what he's done his entire career.
And I think you're going to see continued growth in that area. He wants to be here, and he loves this team.
You know, Willie was talking before the game about getting up. It's a great shot by Zach.
Levine, who was the catalyst for the first half for them. Lonzo Ball on the run. And Nick Vucevic took Tice right out of the game.
Okay to go in a dry spell if you're defending.
It'll be Zach Levine on the back door.
Great read by Zach Levine.
Yep. Point game. Look out. It's Desumu.
It's a nice finish.
It's a three-point game.
It's a nice finish.
So the Pels were up by on the turnover. And that'll do it.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning. Special edition of Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those comes courtesy of CHSN. Excuse me. Those are the bullies, baby, the Bulls. Unfortunately, with a tough loss down in the Crescent City, down in New Orleans, 123-111. You know, today is a very special day. I tried to get my guy Bob Nightingale on to come on talk. But he's like, no, he goes, I can't make it. I'll be at Dodger Stadium. Okay. I was like, I get it. I understand. The World Series starts tonight, the Fall Classic. And let me tell you something. This is going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Coast to coast. LA to New York, New York to LA. You have some big time power hitters, big time names. All right, obviously Shohei Ohtani is probably the biggest name, and it's no disrespect to anybody else. Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts. All right, and on the other side, on the evil umpire, you have the judge. All rise, Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. Big time storylines, and this is baseball at its best. You know, this World Series is already breaking records. The average ticket price is the highest average ticket price since 2016. The second highest was 2016 when the Cubs Indians back then were in the World Series, because they knew, everyone in Chicago knew you could charge whatever you want and Cub fans would pay it. Understandably, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking a shot, but this ticket price for this World Series eclipses that. That's how crazy. It's like $1,600. Oh goodness, I thought I had it. It might have been in yesterday's paper, but that's crazy. It's crazy how, and that's for one ticket. So imagine if you get two. Imagine if you get four. Like that's, you know, it's good money. If you can make it, good money. You can make it, and you have the disposable income to sell out $1,500 on a baseball ticket. Okay, nice. But there's so many other things. A lot of former Chicago players are in this World Series. So I know obviously the Cub fans, you guys are fired up about Anthony Rizzo playing on the Yankees. Anthony Rizzo could win another World Series. I know many of you are rooting for him. I know my good friend Paul is a huge Cub fan, huge Anthony Rizzo fan. 2 years ago, not this summer, last in 23, when the Yankees came to the South Side, he bought a ticket. He bought a tailgating spot, so they had a little designated area to tailgate before the game, and they wore their Anthony Rizzo Foundation shirts. They had a Yankees hat. They wore the Yankees jersey with Rizzo's name on the back, the whole nine. So I know a lot of Cub fans are pulling for Rizzo, and understandably so. Got a couple White Sox players. All right, Carlos Rodon, who'll probably be making a start. Should be making a start in one of these games. This is today, Fridays. Former pitcher for the White Sox. He was a tough luck pitcher. Yeah, Rodon starts game 2 against Yamamoto for the Dodgers. All right, Carlos Rodon. Remember, he couldn't get any run support when he was here. All right, but also Michael Kopech is pitching for the Dodgers. Michael Kopech was a highly touted prospect that the White Sox had. They just mismanaged him. He had a lot of personal issues. Remember, he had a situation with his mental health. He had his girlfriend had a baby, and they went their separate ways. So that was a little crazy as well, and that took a toll on him as well. He had Tommy John surgery, so he's had his issues. And he came back and pitched well when they traded him to the Dodgers. Man, he really took off, and he started playing at another level. Yeah, as my guy Edwin said, can you please give a shout out to my son Sammy and Santino? They're listening with me. They want to hear their names. So Sammy and Santino, what's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in along with your dad. I appreciate it. Armando Lara says, "Go Cubs, go!" No. We're not talking that. No. No, it's not happening. But so there's a lot of storylines, and it's good. It's good when former players get a chance, especially players that we care about. Okay, Cub fans, man, I know you guys have a crazy relationship with the members of that 2016 team, and you should. Okay, I understand that. It was a lot shorter than you wanted, and there's really not a lot of ill will toward anybody from that 2016 team, unless you want to go Addison Russell, but he's kind of faded away. But if your players, people that you watch, I mean, because we literally watched these guys grow up. We literally watched our players. We saw Michael Cole. I was at Michael Kopech's first game. I'll never forget it. First battery fake struck out, or his first strikeout, I should say, was a thing of beauty. So we invest our time, our emotions into these players. So I get it. And I love Carlos Rodon. Carlos Rodon was a badass. One of the best sliders around. Edwin says, "What's up, Cornelius? Thanks for the shout out, Shawn. Love you, buddy. I love you too, big dog. No problem." Anthony Rizzo, cancer survivor. All he does for cancer patients, for kids, it's awesome. So I can understand why a lot of Cub fans are interested and hoping Rizzo wins one. You can also understand why Sox fans are interested. It depends who do you want. Who do you like more? Carlos Rodon, if you're a little older, a little younger, it could be Michael Kopech. Carlos Rodon had a rough time here on the South Side. Could never really get on track. Never get run support. Never be that dominant guy. He was an ace for a year or so after they traded Chris Sale. But tonight's going to be fun, and I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward. I love baseball, but I have a lot of them. You got baseball, you got basketball, you got hockey. There's a lot of sports. They got college football. College football is taking over Fridays too. College football is extending its reach onto Friday, Thursdays, and Thursday night, but Friday they're doing the same. Let's see who's on tonight. They don't give a damn. Yeah, tonight, college football. Notre Dame. Wow, holy jeez. Notre Dame at Navy. No, that's Saturday. Sorry. It's like not 11 o'clock. Okay, Yale at Penn. Okay, small at ESPNU. Louisville at Boston College, ESPN2. Got some high school football, which is awesome. Buffalo Grove at Prospect on the Marquee Network. Loyola at Mount Carmel, the U2. Boise State at UNLV. CBS Sports Network. And Rutgers at USC. That's on Fox. That's at 10 o'clock tonight. Whew. Rutgers at USC, a cross-country travel. There's a lot to watch, baby. So right after the World Series, you can switch over to so they'll probably have the World Series. Will they even have the local news? Because that game's on Fox. You might not even have the local news on. That's how crazy it is this time of year for sports. And our Bulls are playing. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the season. They started off bad, and exactly what Fred Pfeiffer said last week is exactly what you're seeing. Exactly what you're seeing. No defense, no rim protection, poor three-point shooting. That pretty much did them in. Yeah, that pretty much did them in. All right, Josh Giddey didn't get his rookie extension to his rookie deal. And understandable. The guy shoots like crap from three-point land. And he gets it. Remember, he said you got to earn them. And he's damn right. Edwin says, with the season Ohtani had, I would love to see him win a ring this year. That'd be crazy. Imagine starting the 50-50 club and winning a World Series on top of it. $50-50 club and winning the World Series on top of it. Like, first of all, how can you not name him MVP of the regular season? And if he wins a ring and gets named World Series MVP, come on, man. Ohtani's such a freak of nature. He could go 50-50 again next year. 40-40. Hell, because he hit more than 40. I was going to say a 30-30 would be a bad year for him. But he's going to hit 40 homers again. So just being part of just getting 40-40 would be a step back for him. Do you realize how difficult that is? I told you there's only 6 people, whoever, in the 40-40 club. That's crazy. And one in the 50-50, which was established in 2024. If he does 50-50 again, come on, man. How can you not call him the greatest baseball player of all time? And then he'll be pitching too. So this guy has got it all. This guy's got it all. I would love, that'd be great if he wins it. It'd be par for the course. All the controversy he had before the season started, where the gambling thing, where his best friend, who was his interpreter, allegedly stole money from him. And yeah, I still don't buy that one. I still don't buy that one. Sorry, Papa. I don't buy that one. Yes, he's the manager at Output with the beard, Mondo. But I still don't buy that. But anyway, I digress. That'd be dope for him to win it. I wish him the best. I don't have a dog in the fight. All right, I got a lot of friends who are Yankee fans. Good luck to them. Some of my cousins are Yankee fans. Probably watching the Bulls more. So I'll be watching baseball, but I want to see the Bulls. I want to see this team do well. I know there's a lot of shortcomings on this team, and that's okay. But like Fred said, they could be a very exciting team. Not necessarily a good team, just an exciting one. And that's what I want to see. I want to see some improvement. I want to see some growth. I want to see Patrick Williams take a step forward. I love the youth on this team. I also love Lonzo Ball on this team. Lonzo Ball is such a facilitator. I know he didn't have very many assists the other day. But don't forget, he's at a minutes count. Minutes restriction. Because Ball only had 2 assists, 5 points, 2 boards, 2 assists. But he's at a minute restriction. He's not playing back-to-back, so he's not playing tonight. And it's not that it's a back-to-back, it's the second of a back-to-back. They're playing tomorrow. They're going to play tomorrow at home against OKC. So instead of playing in Milwaukee, he'll play tonight. He'll play in Chicago against OKC tomorrow, which I get. Makes sense. Makes sense. It makes sense. But my question for those that I pose again is, what happens if the Bulls are really good? What if they're in the middle of the pack, smack dab of the playoff hunt as the trade deadline approaches? You still get rid of Levine? What if Lonzo Ball is dishing out dimes like they're going out of style? You still let him walk at the end of the year? A lot of question marks. And a lot of decisions are going to be made a lot more difficult if this Bulls team is in the middle of the playoff hunt. Not in the playoffs. If they bypass the playoffs, play in, and are in the playoff hunt, what does the front office do? Because you want to get rid of Zach. You're kind of just putting him out there to show everybody that he's healthy. Bring your offers. You're probably going to want to get rid of Vooch. You know, Vooch it's unfortunate. You know, Vooch got here amidst a lot of hype, but it was warranted. He was shooting 40% from beyond the arc with Orlando. So you get a big who shoots like that, but then it's just that he doesn't live up to it. It doesn't continue. Yeah, Junior said he was his patsy. He's talking about Shohei's interpreter. Marshawn says if the Bulls are good, it's on P. Will's play on the court. P. Will's got to step up, man. How long do we have to wait for him? This is 5th year now. You got paid. Step up and grow the hell up. Start taking advantage of some of these mugs, man. I mean, you have the ability. I'm sure they have a sports psychologist. Go talk to them. If not, pay for your own or talk to the team. Said, hey, I need some counseling. I need to see. It's okay. Wall Street companies have psychologists, shrinks. And you guys ever see Billions? Did you watch the show Billions? Yeah, you got to get your mind right. But P. Will is the key for me this year. I agree with you, Marshawn. If he plays well, this Bulls team will be in the middle of the playoffs. If he doesn't, so my question, this bothers me a little bit. You know, I sit there and I watch players and you see their shortcomings. Why don't you work on them? That's a crazy idea. Why don't you work on them? You're getting paid millions and millions of dollars. Why don't you work on your shortcomings? Like Josh Giddey was a poor 3-point shooter. Why don't you put a 500 3-point shots a day in the offseason? I mean, you're not working as an insurance agent in the offseason. Why don't you do this? Why don't you come in and improve your value to this team? Make yourself more valuable to the team, but also make this team better. Not 500 shots, 500 3-point shots. So 1,000 shots, 500 shots from around the court, but 500 of your 1,000 shots, at least 500 have to be from beyond the arc. You got all off season. This shows you the mentality of some players. Shaq too. Remember Shaq? How the hell you ain't not making free throws? But I digress. We're talking about Josh Giddey. These are things that are fixable. So when you see players who don't seem to get better, it's frustrating. You're getting paid millions of dollars and you don't have the desire and the drive to get better. You don't have that desire. Do you realize how many people would love to have a position on an NBA team, a roster spot? You're there and you're not getting any better? Come on, man. I can't wait to see Matis Buchelis, the young kid out of Hinsdale from Chicago. Matis Buchelis. This kid in his preseason looked good. He looked aggressive. He didn't back down from anybody. He went at people. He knew. Here's the thing that I really liked. He knew when to attack and he knew when to retreat. All right, he had a nice little fadeaway. Like if you can't get any push or any creation any separation because you're light in the ass, probably 185 pounds, 6'10". Well, initiate contact to create separation for your fadeaway. He's done that. I'm hoping and praying he takes the route of Lauri Markkanen. He reminds me a lot of Lauri. Dude can handle the ball. He can shoot. He can post up. Now get some meat on you. Now live in the weight room. For the next 2 off seasons, live in the weight room. The kid's now 20 years old, I think they said. He's got 5 years. 5 years before he hits his prime. 5 years. 5 years. Before he hits his prime. This is why I like what's happening with Kobe White. Kobe White had a nice breakout year last year. Improved his three-point shooting. Ayo had some improvements. Now I need a bigger step up from Ayo this year. I'm really liking what I'm seeing with this Bulls team. Let me just say that. Let me rephrase that. I like what I'm seeing from a lot of these Bulls players. Because the team is mid at best. But I like what these players are doing. Ayo's got to, again, improve, have another noticeable improvement this year. Kobe White, same thing. I like Kobe White. I like what he did last year. I like it a lot. He gained some confidence. He'd come out on a fast break, pull up, tray bomb, bingo. Love it. Wow. So he just got word, the Bears communication on Twitter. Thanks, Mondo. The Bears released fullback Kari Blasting game, and they waived Velus Jones. Wow. Shawn says, Coach Billy D's in a difficult spot with the roster. Yeah, he is. He is, and he's the chef. He's the one who's got to make it all work. And why don't you tell the guy who's buying the groceries, here's what I need. I need a rim protector. I need a 6'10", a couple of 6'10" guys who can run the court, or at least one guy who I know is a defensive stopper, and one guy who's a rim protector, one guy who's a shot blocker, who likes to run up and down the court. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Because you have some decent sized guys, but wait, do you expect Matas Bucelas to be your shot blocker? I don't know. Kid's still young. Now, if he becomes a shot blocker in a year or two, okay. He'll have some weight on him, have some mass on him, have some strength. Not strength. You know? And if he wants to protect the rim, cool, because we know the kid can run. The kid is mad athletic. Mad athletic. And he's got a little attitude, too. He's got a little chip on his shoulder, which I like. What about Zach LaVine? You know, Zach LaVine first of all, Zach LaVine hasn't played since January. So don't be surprised when you see him full of energy, strong, bouncy, springy. He hasn't played since January. He's got a whole time to recover. So how soon before we really start fielding offers for him? Or how soon before offers start coming in for him? That's the question. That's the question. Because if you want to get rid of him, he's got to show. He's got to show out. Another, what do you have, 27? Is that what I said he had, 27 yesterday? Yeah, 27 and 5 on Wednesday, excuse me. You keep putting up 27 points, yeah, you're going to get some offers. The boy's gonna get some, but the Bulls are gonna get some offers for that boy. Ant Mass coming in. What's up, Papa? He's checking in. How you doing, baby? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Bear down. But this Bulls team is an enigma. They're armed to make the playoffs, just not a deep playoff run. They're armed to, I shouldn't say easily, but I could say definitely make the playoffs. They can avoid the play-in and make the playoffs, but once the playoffs start, they don't have a shot. They don't have a snowball's chance in hell. And that's okay because the front office and the marketing department just want to say, hey, we're in the postseason 2 years, 3 years in a row. We got eliminated in the play-in game, but who cares? We're still in the postseason. See how things change so much? How people they want to use stuff for, or they just want to be able to say things. The Bulls made the postseason, yes. But were you really contending? You really think that playoff, the play-in or the postseason play was worth anything? No. And that's the problem. They're okay with that. They're okay with that. That's the biggest problem that I have. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk a little football, a little Bears football. We're going to welcome Kelsey, Nicole, Nelson, award-winning journalist, to give us a DC perspective on this matchup, the Commanders-Bears matchup on Sunday. They got flexed 325. All right? So listen, don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
Hi, guys. Hey. Hi, Megan. Hey, Jessica. Megan, you're a tramp. Ryan Fitch told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. He said your breath smells like garbage. And he almost puked. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows, besides your mom. How many boyfriends does she have anyway? Lots? Your makeup makes you look like a clown. That zit is huge, zit face.
Hey, bud, what you doing?
I'm playing with cars.
Cars? Can you show me what a car does? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a second. First of all, this is a school zone. So you need to put down your cell phone, stop texting, and let's get to driving. Now you're coming up to a stop sign, right? You need to slow down and stop before you hit that Y line. I want you to look left, right, left. You don't want to get hit by a car going on your left, and to your right to make sure you don't get sideswiped by a guy coming from your right. You're coming, and you see a crosswalk. You better slow your horses down, because the #1 rule of driving is always yield to pedestrians. Now stop, pull over, and you are done driving. Gosh, what do they teach you kids in school nowadays?
For the ATL, it's another run for Swift around the left edge. He gains the corner and the first down.
At the quarterback position.
Williams looking deep, looking for somebody, looking for room. Finds it, and he's got a lot of room in front of him. Caleb Williams slides down right around the logo. Williams still has it over the middle. That's grabbed by Adunze.
They know exactly where they want to go with the football.
Williams, there's Keenan Allen. He went to the old vet on a 3rd and 5, and Matt Eberflus fires off one of those 2 remaining timeouts.
Welcome back to the special edition of Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. It's an afternoon edition. Feels weird saying that because I'm not used to coming on at this time. I'm usually doing something else, but that's the nutso. But those clips courtesy of the NFL Network. Those are our boys across the pond playing the smackdown on the Jacksonville Jaguars. My first guest today is a DC native. It lives in the DC area. She used to cover the Washington. I think they were the Redskins. I don't know if they were the Commanders yet. We'll figure that out. I'll ask her when she gets on. Award-winning journalist, and extremely happy to have her back on and get her DC perspective. All right. You can find her on Twitter at The Real K Nelson. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. Kelsey, what's up, hon? How are you? Thank you for joining.
I'm fantastic. Happy Football Friday. How are you?
I am wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you for asking.
Excited to be back.
Big time matchup, and at least initially before we'll get to your quarterback in a second. But you guys have had a really surprising season. I thought that the Commanders were going to be one of those pushover teams. I counted them as a win before the season started. And they really have opened my eyes along with a lot of the other eyes across the NFL landscape. What's going on? Why the hell are they so good when they've been an afterthought for the last couple of seasons?
And it is fun football right now in Washington, Shawn. And I'm telling you, all of DC is loving it. You know, you look at this team, like you said, many people really thought them and the Giants, right, would be battling for the bottom of the NFC East. Now, I can't talk for New York. I'm sorry, New York fans. It looks like all is true and remaining true. But for Washington, they've went a complete opposite direction. You know, and there's one guy that's getting a lot of talk, but really it's this team as a whole. Shawn, there's a lot of new faces on the squad, obviously new leadership with the organization within, who is now, again, I think really getting their footing right within this organization. And then you look at the new coaching staff, right, as well. And I think that's made a tremendous difference. But, you know, it goes back to the draft, you know, getting Jaden Daniels and, you know, remember the whole, it's funny. I'm laughing at all the folks that kept telling me Drake May. And I'm like, no, Jaden Daniels needs to be the guy here in Washington. You know, you get a dual threat quarterback. And I think what we're seeing right now is Jaden Daniels being who we thought he would be, right? So, and then that's not to say that he can't get better. He's only going to get better. And I know we're going to talk about it, but of course, everyone is watching his ribs with a very sore, tight eye in Washington to see if he'll play, but they're still feeling confident in this team. And I think, one, this team is believing in themselves. The players have talked about how the atmosphere has changed. I think it really has been more positive. You know, Washington has not been immune, unfortunately, Shawn, to controversy, to problems in the locker room, right? If you go back to the Eric Bieniemy and things with what he said with players not liking. So all that to say, I think out of all of that's the past now. And, you know, it said it in the locker room. The players are writing their own history and honestly believing the product on the football field, and it's transferred over to the fans. And it's exciting. You know, FedEx Field is, I feel like, back full, back loud. The crowd factor is happening again. And I think Washington's offense, you know, has been electric, being able to put points on the board, which, hey, Chicago, I see y'all doing that too. And then the defense, I know there's still questions about the defense, but the defense being able to make necessary stops when needed. Now needing to improve. All in all is good. And, you know, that's kind of why I brought this shirt from the legendary Darryl Green day that we had here in the city when he got his keys to the city. So I show this to show like the burgundy and gold is back. People are excited for this Washington brand. And they really do feel like this is a team that they can once again be proud again in Washington.
You know, it is a team. And I used to like watching the NFC East rivalries, Redskins and Cowboys, Redskins and Giants, Redskins and Eagles. Yeah. And those were the heyday. And just recently, I think all 3 of the 4 teams made the playoffs recently. So that was like a season or 2 ago. And so that's not too far removed. So it's good to have a passionate fan base, have something to be happy about. Like we are here, you know, right. like we are here is something that we're experiencing. And but it's with one of your people. All right. Caleb Williams, and just to clear the record, I was one of the people who said, trade the pick for the Hall. All right. And keep Justin. I was one of those guys.
Yeah.
But Caleb's doing well. He's got, to me, the biggest acquisition this offseason, the best acquisition was Shane Waldron. I think because I thought he was the guy who, whether they kept Justin or drafted Caleb, this is the guy who's going to mold that quarterback into being efficient and hopefully a superstar. So I'm happy with what we have. Your thoughts on not getting Caleb? Because Caleb are not trading for that pick because Caleb has said Gonzaga High. Actually, one of my good friends from college was his high school coach, Coach Trivers.
Yeah.
So he was, I had him on the show the night of the day after the draft. How are you guys okay? Are you guys okay with Jaden, or would there's still some would have loved to have had the Caleb Williams if that opportunity presented itself?
Yeah, I love that you brought that up. Like we always love when folks come home, right? And you talk about Gonzaga College High School, with Caleb Williams, on Monday, I'm actually preparing to cover Howard and American. You got two DeMatha grads in basketball going at each other. So all that to say, the local ties, they mean something here, Shawn, in the DMV area. And yes, people would have liked Caleb to play here. But I also think that, again, folks were watching this electric quarterback kill it at LSU and knew that he could also be something here. And I think Washington didn't want to give up too much. And all that to say also, we saw what happened with Dwayne Haskins, kind of obviously, and may he rest in peace, bringing the hometown kid home. And unfortunately, that didn't fully work out. So at the end of the day, yes, we love ties here. DJ Morris coming back to town, so all of his Terps folks will be in the stands. But Washington, they wanted a guy, again, that could lead this franchise. Leadership, Shawn, has been something that they've been looking for. And that's something that Jaden Daniels has been praised at. I think in his younger days, by multiple coaches, right? And then also he's brought it here to Washington. So, and then to be honest with you, I think there's a lot of fans who did want Caleb that looked at the beginning of the season, right? When it was more of a learning curve, I think, for Caleb getting into it. And Jaden kind of getting off to a hotter start, right? We're talking a lot about potential rookie of the year candidate, right? And of course, again, we have to look at where this injury goes, but really starting to heat it up like electric, right? You look at the first game and you're like, okay, he's got some learning curves. And then all of a sudden, he keeps growing. And I think what's really sold people on Jaden Daniels, even though they lost the game, was how the team was able to take it to Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. And yes, the Ravens came out victorious, but a much closer game maybe than folks thought it would be, right? In Baltimore. And the fact that the Commanders were able to give that to a potential Super Bowl, right, worthy opponent. But all that to say, I think folks are excited to see Caleb. Of course, they want to win, but they do want to see Caleb win as well. That's just the DMV mentality, in spirit. Like I said, it's Friday Night Football here. But I think there was questions about Caleb again in leadership. So I don't think everyone, Shawn, was mad that he didn't fully come here. Again, because they with all the Washington has gone through, and it's been a lot. Y'all read the headlines, y'all seen the news. They needed to make sure that it was a guy that could take it in the opposite direction. So all in all, that Jaden Daniels crew that was here, the LSU folks that kept telling Washington, do not make this mistake and fumble him. Again, there's a lot of happiness and joy, and he's really been, I think, really beloved and behold, in this community. Because again, you're thinking about a franchise, Shawn, that has went through so many quarterbacks, did not know when they could finally marry the quarterback, just have been dating quarterbacks, but finally it feels like it's going to be long-term with Jaden Daniels. So all in all, I think any thoughts before with Caleb are gone, but again, excited to have a homecoming back for him here in DC.
Well, we empathize with you guys. Again, we're joined by Kelsey, Nicole Nelson, award-winning journalist from the DC area, talking Bears Commanders right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Yeah, believe we know a little bit about poor quarterback play too.
I know both teams kind of mirroring each other in that sense.
Yeah, we definitely know a little bit about that. But Jaden Daniels is hurt, sore ribs, hasn't practiced. Head coach has said, kind of been veiled his little secrecy, like, oh, well, he's week to week, usually like day to day. Marcus Mariota is the backup. He's the number 2 overall pick, Heisman Trophy winner, if I'm not mistaken, as well. What do you lose? How much do you lose going to Marcus Mariota, and how effective do you think he can be against this Bears team?
You're asking the hottest question right now in Washington, Shawn. Look, everybody has bought into JD, right? The Jaden Daniels train and what he's been able to do. He is electric, right? And get it done with his legs. Remember, with the play he got injured on was that long, was it 49-yard run? I mean, he's hard to account for. He's also shown the arm that he has a deep ball, right? So that's why he's one of the most fun folks to watch. And also, I think we've seen him get better with sliding. That was the big question, Shawn, with him here. Can he slide and protect himself fully overall? And I think what fans saw in Marcus Mariota coming in, and, I know there's a lot of thoughts on Marcus Mariota, and I know his quarterback play as of lately probably has not went as fans have thought. But I think what we saw in that game was that he can still move, right? And I think the one thing fans have to remember, the beautiful thing about Jaden Daniels is he spreads the football, right? You have so many guys that are able to get the ball, but also let's remember what makes Washington a really good football team, that complementary run attack. And yes, Jaden Daniels is part of that, but when you have a guy like Brian Robinson Jr., who has been a touchdown king this season, already surpassing his touchdowns from last season, when you have Austin Eckler, which, oh my gosh, I think he should be talked about so much more. You talk about just a jewel that he's been, and then Jeremy McNichols, like that backfield is so dangerous for Washington. And I think Cliff Kingsbury and what he's able to dial up, can be electric. And then Terry McLaurin finally getting a quarterback, that can, again, have some more chemistry with him. I think it's still building. But again, the ball's being spread around to Brown. And I mean, so many other folks that are able to step up, which I think Washington has been looking for, who's able to effectively spread the ball. Now, Marcus Mariota, I think he can do the same thing, but it's going to take some time. And the Bears defense, what a time to start learning on the ground in real life, because I think we know what the Bears can bring. Of course, there's that Montez Sweat story. There's so much more, I think, there. But, Marcus Mariota, I think he's going to play smart football. The Commanders are on top of the division. They do want this game. I think this is going to be much more hard fought. And I think what's going to make this game interesting is, can Marcus Mariota, can he score points? What has made Washington so dangerous? Tressway's sitting like this a lot of the times. He's resting. They're not punting as much as he was last year, right? So, like, you look at it, you look at the fast-paced offense, right? The no-huddle offense. Like, every guy knows their role, right? And they're moving down the football field. So both these teams can put up at least 30-plus points. So I honestly think the biggest factor for Marcus Mariota, Shawn, is going to be, can he not turn the ball over? That's going to be the biggest factor. Can he play clean football? Can he protect that ball? Washington's offensive line having some improvement. I believe when I last checked, Pro Football Focus had them ranked 11th. And this is something, Shawn, I think when we talked last year, the offensive line was a issue. It was a problem. I was worried for anybody who was behind them. So that trajectory has changed. So all in all, I think if the offensive line can do their job, protect Marcus Mariota, if he does start, which again, it's looking like, because I don't see the need to push Jaden Daniels there when he just had a chance to practice today, and Sunday is very quickly approaching. And again, if you're looking at him as a quarterback of the future, and Washington is a team that knows what it is to rush your quarterback onto the field and get injured, remembering the RG3 era, which of course nobody wants to relive. And you think about Jaden being electric like an RG3 and getting fans enticed. I think, again, Marcus Mariota is just going to have to play safe football, do the screens. And Washington, again, I think they're going to have to just have a variety of plays, I think, to hopefully be tricky to this Bears offense. But all in all to say, I think Marcus Mariota, again, can get the job done if he plays smart football. He can't have a game like Andy Dalton had last game against Washington with multiple interceptions. That will not fare well for them. But he's a veteran quarterback. He's someone that Jaden Daniels respects. And I really do think this locker room has bought into the next man up mentality and knowing that they can still win a football game.
Yeah, we know about Mr. Dalton.
Sorry, I almost forgot that. You got to score in the red zone for Washington. You got to score in the red zone.
Yeah, how do you anticipate they do that? I mean, we have one of the best defenses around. We have a lockdown corner in Jalen Johnson. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Jalen Johnson, he's given up. I don't think he's given up 100 yards all season to his receivers. No one throws his side for obvious reasons. He's got a couple picks. He's a second team all pro. He wants that first team, so he just got paid in the offseason. This guy's coming back with a vengeance. I mean, sometimes you get paid, and people they rest on their laurels. This guy's not. Also, there's another storyline. One of your former people, Montez Sweat's coming back. He's kind of threw a little shade your guys' way. He's saying
a couple things.
Yeah, he's happy to be at a place where he's wanted. This defense is top notch. It's playoff ready. I'm not sure Super Bowl ready. I think they're playoff ready. I think if we can sign one more defensive end or if get another little more pressure from that other end, we'll be Super Bowl ready. But how do you anticipate, that run game, which has been our weakest spot? Although we were good last year, it's been a weaker spot for us this year. How do you think that's the way to attack this defense and try and exploit it?
Yeah, a weaker spot, but I think it is starting to gain legs, right? And Washington's defense, though, where they have been susceptible, has been the pass, right? The secondary is where I'm kind of getting a little bit nervous, right? I go back to that Baltimore game, and probably a game that St. Juice wants to pack away. What made them successful though last game, when you look at the secondary, was being able to get turnovers, and that's something that has been preached to that Washington locker room. Can you get those turnovers? I think for Washington's defense, though, to be successful, is they're going to have to prevent the long pass. They're just going to have to make them beat you in front of you. Again, both teams can score. This is why there's going to be a fun run game, Shawn. It's going to be more of an offensive game, but I think that defensive turnover will be the storyline in terms of who wins. I think for the Bears, they have to get the run game going at some point or time. Will Washington be that team? You look at that front for Washington, of course, John Allen being out is one of the bigger storylines. Washington, right? So you look at that and can that be tested? But if I'm Chicago and I'm looking at the game tape, right? And I'm looking at, and sorry, Washington fans, and they might not like me for saying this, but I'm passing the football, right? I'm passing that football. And I think on the opposite side for the Bears, make Washington beat you on that third down. Washington has to be better at third down conversion. It's funny, they're better at fourth down right now than the third down. It's like, what in the world is happening? But again, on the other side, I think make them beat you with the pass. But I want Chicago to get the run game happening. But of course, as a reporter who covers Washington, it'd be very interesting if it happens through this one. But again, I think people are not looking at Washington's defense coming in scared. They're looking at a high-powered offense, looking at a questionable defense, a defense that I think that's still trying to find its footing and still trying to find its identity. I do think this is going to be a tough one for Washington, but it will be a really good one to get them battle tested to see if it's not just hype right now on this Washington team, but to see if it's really a reality that we're watching, Shawn, and what we're seeing on the football field.
Yeah, DJ Moore, Maryland product.
Yes, he's a Terp. Shout out to Maryland.
Yeah, big shout out to the Terps. Had a huge game last year against you guys.
Oh my God, he killed single-handedly. I still remember that in front of his hometown fans.
Yeah, he's
in prime time.
He snapped 230. I think it was 230 from 3 tutties. What do you think that they're going to do to kind of eliminate that? But here's the problem, though. It's like he's got help. Like you can't shade him because then you got Keenan Allen, who's definitely going to be a Hall of Famer, a perennial Pro Bowler, and then you still got the young buck, the rookie in Roma Dunze, who's had one breakout game at 115 yards and a tutty earlier. So what do you think they do? Do you think they still shade toward DJ Moore, and take their chances with everybody else? But again, you're taking chances with a 6-time Pro Bowler in Keenan Allen who had 1,200 yards last year.
My gosh, DJ Moore is a beast. And of course,
he is
coming from Maryland, Dwayne Wade. And to quote Dwayne Wade, he is he, him. He can do it all. He is exciting football to watch. And I think that's the problem. Like you said, you put more attention on him, you have another dangerous weapon. And that's not even accounting for the tight ends in Chicago. So all in all to say, I think Washington, this is when you look at, does the defense, you put pressure on Caleb Williams. He is, again, still a rookie quarterback, right? At the end of the day, can he keep protected? To me, if I'm Washington, I want to force him to make those quick decisions, so hopefully force him to make a mistake, right? That's what you're counting on with that rookie presence. But then again, if you do that, then you're susceptible in the back. So all in all to say, this Commanders defense is probably putting in overtime because Chicago, and we talked about this at the beginning of the season. If we think about it, Shawn, going back to the beginning of the season, I think everybody thought Chicago would be one of the most dangerous teams if Caleb Williams was able to quickly progress because of all these weapons. Like, it was almost unfair. It's like, NFL, can you rule? How is Chicago able to do this? Like, it's on paper. It's like, okay, he's a threat. He's a threat. He's a threat. He's a threat. And there was nobody that it felt like you could really stop. So I think all in all, Washington, the zone coverage will probably be your best bet. With man, it's too many weapons. It's too many weapons to account for. And again, you're looking at a Washington team where the pass, especially over 10 yards, has hurt them. And that is something I think Caleb Williams can do. So I think, again, this is going to be a game, and I don't know how many Bears fans are planning to come to Washington, are already in Washington, but this will be a true test to show who these teams really are at this point of the season as we get to week 8 of football.
Yeah, and the great thing about Caleb, one of the things I really like is his ability to spread the ball. You talk about Jaden Daniels spreading the ball around.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams last game hit 7 different receivers. The week before 6, the week before 8. So it's turning out his favorite receiver is the open one, and that's great news for the Bears. Bad news for defenses because you got a guy in DJ Moore who's phenomenal in man. So if you want to go man, you really got to be leery of DJ Moore, and then we have a guy who's all against his own and Keenan Allen. And so we got both those things covered. So I like the progression where Caleb is at. And I only think he's going to get better. And if as soon as this offense clicks, I think it's a bad sign for the rest of the NFL because the defense is on 10. they're on point, man.
Yeah.
This defense
That's
is
the thing
really,
about
really.
Chicago's defense. All right, you have to account. That's right. And that's why it would have been interesting if Jaden Daniels were to play, right? Again, going up against a defense like this. But I think what you just said is right for both quarterbacks. I think both these quarterbacks can have a long trajectory, and it's only going to get better for them with them clicking more right on offense. So all in all, I feel like the NFL from Roger Goodell, I know the NFL is in good hands. When you look at these quarterbacks and the gameplay, that these two have been able to do. And that's not to say that the other rookie quarterbacks won't continue to progress as well. But, when you're at 1 and 2, and we've all seen 1 and 2s not always live up to potential, thus far, I think these two have sold us. We're bought in and, we're eating our popcorn. We're excited fans because we know what they can do on the football field. But all in all, that Bears defense, again, can bring the pressure and not be exposed in any ways. If Marcus Mariota does get the start, him and Cliff Kingsbury are going to have to be very creative about what they do with the football, because the Bears will bring the heat. But when they do that, again, who could be that man? I think we're going to have to be creative with Washington's running backs. Again, just using creative plays to get, like you said, get the open man, get the ball quick out of Marcus Mariota's hand.
Yeah, and I like Marcus Mariota because he's been around, because he's kind of been a journeyman, and you've seen a lot, and you have to learn quickly. And that's the thing that gives me a little pause with him starting, because you talk about being confused, confusing Caleb because he's a rookie. Jaden Daniels is a rookie too, and we might be able to do some things here. Marcus Mariota, he's seen a lot, right? He's been around the block a few times. Right. He's seen a lot, and there's not a lot you can do, and he might be able to identify the blitz quicker, and he might, and it could be bad news for the Bears, no pun intended. But that's something we definitely we hope doesn't happen. We hope this Bears defense is able to get off. Hope they're able to get home. Hope they're able to bring him down before he hits those studs like Terry McLaurin and crew. Because if
Terry's dangerous, it seems like he can catch anything.
Scary Terry is no joke. No joke. Kelsey, great stuff. I appreciate the time. Do me a favor, though, let everybody know where they can find you and your work online.
Of course. Well, thank you again so much for having me on. I'm looking forward to game time on Sunday. You can go to my website, KelseyNicoleNelson.com. As Shawn said, my social media handle, The Real K Nelson, Facebook, LinkedIn, just Kelsey Nicole Nelson. Looking forward to connecting with all the football fans and Bears fans. Yes, you can invite me to your tailgates as well on Sunday.
Hey, congratulations. I just saw on social media you're doing basketball too for the Wizards.
George Washington. So I'm teaching at George Washington University. Yeah, and I just joined their committee. So if you are ever in town and want to come to a GW basketball game, I hope to see folks. Support hoops in the A10 tournament.
Nice. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the kind words and proud of you, Shawn. This is amazing. And thank you so much for everyone with the kind words and commenting and tuning in. You guys are listening to truly one of the best in the business.
Thanks. We'll talk soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Shawn. Have a great one.
All righty. Bye now. Guys, that's Kelsey Nicole Nelson from DC talking Bears, Commanders. And yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I want to see this is a test. This is a first place team. That's why I'm excited. It's a first place team. And it sucks if Jaden Daniels doesn't play. But you know what? It's not our issue. It's not our issue. Okay. How many times did we go in a game shorthanded because our star was hurt? All right. Or one of our key players was out. It's the NFL. Attrition. All right. It happens. Okay. But my thing is again, as a coach, Eberflus has to get these guys ready. Hey, listen, I think it's an easier job this week because you're definitely going to give this team the respect they deserve. They're in first place, first place in their division. I believe they lead the NFL in points scored. So it's a challenge for the defense. So I don't think they're going in with a preconceived notion. I don't think they're going in with overlooking this team. You can't. How the heck can you overlook a team that's in first place? So I think it's going to be an easier job for Coach Eberflus to get these guys dialed in and focused all week. They should have been. Again, because of who they're playing and because of the record. And regardless, Marcus Mariota to me is dangerous as well. Okay. He doesn't run anymore like he used to, but it doesn't mean he can't run. The dude can run. He can scramble. He can run. He's just not running 4.3. He might be running 4.4, maybe high 4.4, low 4.5s. Okay. Maybe that's where he's at. But that still can be a problem. It still can be a problem. So if you don't give him the respect he deserves as the starting quarterback, you could have some issues. That goes to Eberflus on down to every single last one of the defensive players. Okay, let's not sleep on his talents. He was a Heisman Trophy winner, number 2 overall pick for a reason. For a reason. You don't just forget how to play football. Okay? We got to see the status on Kyler Gordon, the status on Jaquan Brisker. Armando, did you hear that from somebody? Is that the scouting report? Is that what you heard? Let me double check. I know who usually has a scouting report up. But yeah, so here we go. He usually posts this. Here we go. Yeah, so you're right. Brisker to miss. Junior, you're right. Jaquan Brisker, concussion. He's out for the game. Kyler Gordon, out for the game. Damn. Larry Borum, questionable. Scott Daly, he's a long snapper. Full participation, so Cole doesn't have to do it. Travis Homer, Mercedes Lewis. So it's official. So he's out. So we're gonna have to go at him without 2 of our starting 5. Yeah, Kari Blasingame is out, is gone. Immediate release from the Chicago Bears. The Bears have made the following transactions: released Kari Blasingame and waived Velus Jones Jr. So, yeah. So those of you who heard Velus is gone, you are correct. Velus has been released, has been waived, and Kari Blasingame has been released. Yeah, not much. Like, not much cap saving. Hold on. So here's the difference. The difference between being released and being waived is the length of a player's service. So if you're a player, here's what it means to be released. Because some people are going to ask, well, what's the difference between released and waived? Players released when their contract ends and they are free to sign with any team. This happens to players who have at least 4 years of service in the NFL. A waived player, a player is waived when they have less than 4 years of service time in the NFL, and then the waived players are subject to waiver wire claims, where other teams can place a claim on the player. The teams with the highest waiver priority gets the player in their contract. If no team claims a player, they return the original team's injury reserve list. So he could come back to the Bears. We're talking Velus Jones. Yeah, Mashawn, it's a proposed draft bust. Okay, but you have to understand. I agree with you. But you can't hit on everything. You can't hit on every player. No GM in the history of sports has hit on every single draft pick. It just sucks. It just sucks. And King Book of World, you're right. It said it ain't like Velus didn't get chance upon chance. You're right. He didn't. They even moved his position to keep him on. Aunt Ma said not everything can hit. Just waited a little longer to write it. Yeah, it happens. So, I am. It's unfortunate for that guy. Hopefully he lands on his feet, and if someone else does pick him up, hopefully he gets his mind right, because he has the type of speed you can't teach, and he could be a weapon for somebody. So hopefully, lesson learned for him. Okay, I hope he got the message, and I wish him the best. I really do. I like Velus Jones Jr. He just couldn't get it together here, and it didn't to me. And I'm not obviously in his brain I don't see him on a consistent basis, but there didn't seem like a sense of urgency with him. There was a lack of urgency with him. Casey needs speed. Yeah, they do. And maybe they look for him. You know, maybe they look to sign him. I mean, they're already signing D-Hop, but he's older. You know, you got Xavier Worthy, although he was hurt too. So maybe KC decides to go after him and make a play. And maybe being around Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, maybe that. Culture is a lot. Let me tell you, culture is a lot. When you go to certain places, just think about different places that you've been. Like when you go to church, like usually when you walk into church, you're not loud and screaming. You understand it's the culture, it's the place, it's not the time and the place. If he goes to a team, somebody scoops him up off of waivers. Hey, he's got a shot. He's got a shot. But anyway, Cornelius says Vedas will definitely be picked up right away. He can be something if they make him a full-time running back. Junior says, wish they got rid of Davis before Jones. Yeah, you and me both. You and me both. You and me both. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to welcome our guy, Evan Winter. All right, so don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. In a special edition of Shawn and Maya in the morning. The afternoon edition on Sports Zone Chicago.
Move it!
Many will hear the calling. Few will earn the title. United States Marine. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings.
I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
We are looking
ATL, it's another run for Swift around the left edge. He gains the corner and the first down.
The quarterback position.
Williams looking deep, looking for somebody, looking for room. Finds it, and he's got a lot of room in front of him. Caleb Williams slides down right around the logo. Williams still has it over the middle. That's grabbed by Adunze.
They know exactly where they want to go with the football.
Williams, there's Keenan Allen. He went to the old vet on a 3rd and 5, and Matt Eberflus fires off one of those 2 remaining timeouts.
Welcome back to a special edition of Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those comes courtesy of the NFL Network. Those are, as I said, those are the boys across the pond. Big win. They went on a bye and they're back, baby. They are back. Speaking of back, my next guest, he's back, baby. He's a big time over there at A to Z Sports. He's the editor, NFL editor at A to Z Sports NFL, and you can find him on Twitter at ATOZ, A to Z Sports NFL. Guys, just welcome back to Shawn and my. Oh, that's not him. You can find him on Twitter at Evan_A to Z, and he's at A to Z Sports at NFL. That's where you can find the NFL stuff. See, this new time is throwing me off. It's crazy. There's so much light out here. It's later in the day. Like it's almost dinner time. What the hell? Oh, welcome our guy, Evan Winter. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
What's up, Shawn? Good. Outside of a few technical difficulties, good to go, man. And yeah, when it gets around dinner time, man, and that hunger sets in, I'm right there with you, man. So yeah.
Yeah, dude. I was like, wait a minute, like, too much light out here. It's later in the day. I looked at the clock. It's like 4. Like, what the hell?
Happy hour time, baby.
Yeah, seriously. Go have a drink after the show. Jesus Christ. But I'm looking forward to Sunday, man. It's going to be a good one. The 5-2 Washington Commanders, first place in the NFC East. Your thoughts? What are you most excited to what storyline are you most excited to see play out? DJ Moore going back to the DMV area. He's a Maryland product. Montez Sweat going back to the team that traded him. Caleb Williams going home. Your thoughts?
I think you led off with it perfectly. It's definitely these Bears receivers against this Commanders secondary. The Commanders defense as a whole plays pretty good as a unit. Now, granted, they've had some pretty subpar offensive opponents over the last few weeks. But when you look at just how their secondary currently works, Mike Sainristil, still the rookie nickelback. They've been playing him outside quite a bit. Noah Igbenogany, they've been playing him mostly at nickel. But then they've got Quan Martin, who they slide inside. Sometimes he's their free safety. Obviously, you've got Emmanuel Forbes, his struggles. Benjamin St. Juste has been off and on. Either way, they're going up against, obviously, a really stacked Bears receiving core led by DJ Moore. And it's just going to be really interesting how Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. put their guys in position to hopefully have success against the Bears. And plus all three guys, Keenan, DJ, and then Rome. And then when you throw in Cole Kmet benefiting from all that, DeAndre coming out of the backfield, this Commanders defense has got a tough task ahead of it. And just to kind of go into like a subtopic of my overall interest in this, if the Bears offensive line protects this week, Caleb should have a very big day. Let's just put it that way.
Well, I had mentioned to the guest prior, I had a reporter from DC. She covered the Commanders for a while. I said to her, I'm like, Caleb is really unselfish with the ball. 7 receivers last game he hit, 6 receivers a game before, 8 different receivers a week before that. This dude finds the open guy. His favorite receiver is the open receiver, and he's not force feeding anybody. He's understanding what they're giving him, and he takes what they're giving him, because you can't take everything. His completion percentage has been, from the first 2 games to the last 4 games, has been crazy against the blitz. So he's recognizing the blitz, he's picking up the blitz, understanding it. This could be this could get ugly if the offensive line for the Bears is able to protect Caleb and Washington wants to bring pressure.
Yeah, man. And, another thing, part of that is Washington's defensive line right now is really, really banged up. Obviously, they lost Jonathan Allen a couple of weeks ago for the season with the torn pec. Javonte Jean-Baptiste, he's mostly a reserve guy, but still, he made some plays here and there. He's on IR currently. Dorrance Armstrong, who is arguably their best defensive end, he's questionable coming in this game. He missed last week with a ribs injury. And then, we've got Dante Fowler, who's made some plays over the last couple of weeks, but he's mostly a specialist. I don't know if you can really count on him to be that guy, especially against a Darnell Wright or even Braxton, or even a Braxton Jones. So, if that defensive line can't get any pressure, and the Commanders haven't been too shy about blitzing. Frankie Louvu's been playing the Micah Parsons role on this defense, on Dan Quinn's defense. They will send guys. But yeah, if the Bears offensive line can just even give Caleb good protection, you're right, man. It could be bound to get ugly. And it's the Panthers. Yeah, they held the Panthers to 7 points last week. It's the Panthers. They held the Browns to 14 points. It's the Browns. Come on, like, let's be real here. So yeah, this is a big test for the Commanders at the end of the day.
DJ Moore, Maryland product, going back home. The scene of the crime where he had 230 yards, 3 tutties last year. What do you think this Commanders defense does? Because now he's got help. He's got a posse with him. He's rolling deep. So you're gonna go man. Well, now you're playing right into DJ Moore's hands. You're gonna go zone. Well, now you got the zone killer in Keenan Allen, and we still haven't even mentioned Roma Dunze or Cole Kmet or DeAndre Swift out of the backfield. How do you think this defense attacks this Bears offense with so many God-blessed weapons?
Yeah, Dan Quinn even talked about it this past week. He said they're still really working through their identity in terms of defense. Like, they know what they want to do, but in terms of executing on a consistent level, all that stuff, they're still figuring that out. And I think you got to go zone. You just really, I mean, sure, send some blitz man up from time to time, but make Caleb Williams find those soft spots, make him find those windows, because something else to include with man, obviously, that we all know watching football, is if these D-backs have their backs turned to Caleb and he sees that, he's just going to run and take off. He's going to find the open space. So I think you've just really got to go zone heavy against this team, pick your spots, bend, don't break, and then hope that Marcus Mariota – well, I know Jaden Daniels is questionable. I really don't foresee him playing. But whomever is playing quarterback, just to play it down the middle, that force whomever to play who's playing quarterback to make some plays, through the air and beat you that way.
Yeah, I'm really comfortable with our defense. I'm getting to the point where I'm getting cocky with our defense.
It's good reason to.
It's a good feeling to have. It's a really good feeling to have when you got literally one corner they've thrown to him, 8 times, 10 times Jalen Johnson side this year. He hasn't even given up 100 yards in receiving. You know what I mean? Like this guy is at another level. He's playing at another level. And you thought he made second team All Pro last year, made the Pro Bowl, and he still found motivation. He wanted to be first team All Pro. So now he's playing lights out. Montez Sweat, another guy. I'm really excited about what they're going to do against this team. They're opportunistic. Although Jaquan Brisker and Kyler Gordon did just get ruled out, they're out for the game. So do you think that's a spot where Washington might be able to attack with a scary Terry McLaurin and crew?
Yeah, watch out for McLaurin, man. Now, granted, him and Jaden had really developed a good rapport over the first half of the season, or almost halfway point of the season. And obviously, if Jaden plays, that's a big deal. Definitely watch out for McLaurin, though. He is having a phenomenal season. He might not be an NFL leader in most categories, but the Bears are gonna have to pay attention to him. Yes, and it's gonna be a big test for Jalen Johnson. But yeah, when it comes to Kyler Gordon specifically playing that slot, Luke McCaffrey has been good in certain spots. He's only got 11 receptions on the year, but I think 3, if not 4 of those have come on 3rd and 4th down, big-time plays. But again, that was with Jaden at quarterback. And the thing that – and I'm sure, Bears fans and everything have heard this to an extent, but it's really, man, when you really, watch this guy and follow this guy in depth, it's just wild. His work ethic is just so unreal. I mean, he uses VR for his part of his training. He's like LSU last year when he was there. Brian Kelly literally had to leave the facility open 24/7 because Jaden was in there so much, and other players wanted to be in there, if not as much as him, but close enough to him. That's what kind of impact he has. That's how much he works. So this Commanders offense that we've seen through the first 7 weeks, it's fair to just say, hey, a lot of that is on Jaden and just what he's been able to do, both terms mentally and physically. But anyways, going back to Luke McCaffrey, it's going to be a challenge, even with Blackwell, the backup, going against him. And then you look at, what Jaquan Brisker brings to the defense. Dan Quinn called him a significant factor the other day. Like, those were his literal words. But obviously the Bears, I think at this point, Eberflus's system, he's found the right guys in the right spots with Jalen Johnson, Gervon Dexter, Montez Sweat, TJ, and Tremaine over the middle. Like, I think he's got his players in the spots that he needs most to make this defense work, to where the rest can kind of play itself out, right? As long as he's got those guys. And this week is going to be a big testament to that. So yeah, I honestly I think they're going to be okay at the slot, missing Kyler. Now they're going to miss his blitzing potential and just his overall versatility. But I think overall the Bears defense is a really good spot, especially with Brandon Coleman, the rookie left tackle. So obviously, and you and I both big trenches fans. This is going to sound crazy. They've been rotating left tackles all year long. The Commanders have with Cornelius Lucas and Brandon Coleman.
In the middle of the game?
Yes, they've been rotating them every single week. It's been ever since week 1, and it's actually been working. That's the crazy part. But now let's see if Cornelius Lucas can handle a full game load. There's reason to argue that both players have their strengths and weaknesses, and rotating them in and out kind of allows those to mesh or to be kind of hidden to an extent. I'm really interested to see how Cornelius Lucas at full time at left tackle is going to work this week.
So they were doing it every week or in the middle of the game, during the game?
Yeah. Yep. Brandon Coleman would come in and play a couple drives, and he would go out. Cornelius Lucas would come in and play a couple drives. The first couple games, they even had Brandon Coleman playing over at right tackle, swapping out with Andrew Wiley at certain times. Now that has pretty much stopped. But yeah, man, it's been crazy, and I even wrote about it before the season started, about just how it was not a good idea. But hey, it's worked out. But again, we'll see how things go this week.
Okay. That's quite interesting, but I do like the depth of our secondary. Josh Blackwell, Jalen Jones. These guys have. There's really no newbies out there. Tyreek Stevenson. What did it say about him? I think he might have practiced.
Oh yeah, he's good to go. He didn't have he doesn't have a game or a designation coming in, so he's good to go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because my buddy, I know one of my guys. He's on the injury report. Yeah. Yeah, Tariq Stevenson, calf, full participant today in practice, so he's good for the game. Terrell Smith is good for the game. Good, that's good. Zach Pickens is good for the game. I want to see Zach Pickens kind of get off. He kind of got left behind a little bit. Gervon Dexter kind of had the breakouts toward the end of last season and this season. Zach Pickens was supposed to be a guy who was touted as being another key integral rotation piece. Hasn't been able to because he's been injured. I'd love to see him be able to cause some damage, be very disruptive on this Bears offensive line. Talk to me about Caleb. Your thoughts on him? He's got a lot going on. Going back home, probably buying 500 tickets. All right, all the ticket requests. And just going back home, a team that many people thought, myself included, we're going to trade for him. All right, made it simple. Hometown boy. I thought it might have been like the Derrick Rose thing. You know what I mean? Hometown boy goes with his team, saves the franchise. But he's got a lot of people. He's playing in front of. Your thoughts on how you think he handles that pressure? I know he said yesterday, my job is just to go win on Thursdays, Sundays, and Mondays. But you just can't deny the extra excitement and enthusiasm that he's going to have playing in front of his hometown people.
Yeah, honestly, the thing I'm going to be most interested in is how does he handle this crowd noise? How does he handle the stadium? The Washington Commanders fan base have just been starved. I mean, it's like Bears fans, just been starved for this kind of quarterback play, this kind of start to the season, just for so long, just all these culminations of all these different things, new franchises heading in different, new, fresh directions. And it's got this fan base pumped up. They are going to be ready and they're going to be loud on Sunday. I mean, they're going to be very loud. So just seeing how he handles all that and just like you said, all the background stuff, it's definitely going to be interesting. Honestly, I'm more interested in seeing all that than I'm not trying to gloss over anything by any means. But I'm interested to see how he handles all of that as opposed to how he handles the Commanders defense, because I kind of have an idea on that. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting for sure.
It's going to be fun. I like the fact that this Bears, most of these guys have been in the system now for 2 or 3 years. Talk to me about the run game of the Commanders against the Bears, because the Bears have been a little less stout, let me put it that way, than they were last year. Last year, they were really one of the top run defenses, if not the top in the last 6-8 games. This year, they're giving up a few more yards. How do you think that the Commanders' run game fares against this Bears run defense?
Dude, honestly, with obviously Jaden Daniels not playing, that strictly becomes the focal point of what the Bears defense needs to do in order to have success. But even if Jaden Daniels was playing, they would have to account for it, if not just as much, but at least close enough to it because, yeah, this Commanders ground game with Brian Robinson leading the way and even Austin Eckler in the mix, especially their inside running game, their power run game, it's very, very good. It's been good since the preseason. Obviously, you don't want to take too much away from the preseason, but I mean, it was even showing in the preseason, just the potential it had. Brian Robinson is on pace to have, top 10 season, maybe even a top 7 season among running backs. He got hurt the last couple weeks and he had to miss a game. So that kind of slowed his pace. But before then, he was top 10 in rushing yards coming into the NFL. Obviously, he leads the Commanders in rushing yards. I'm not entirely sure where his placing is now. But the dude just brings a whole different type of tone and mindset to this Commanders offense. When they lost to the Ravens, they only ran the ball 18 times, which was a season low easily for them. I think before then, the season low was like 28 times or something like that. And it was obvious, but Brian Robinson didn't play in that game. And the Commanders said after that game, I mean, they admitted, they're like, yeah, we totally missed him. Not having him on the field, especially against a top run defense like the Ravens, was a really big deal. So, man, the Bears are going to have a challenge in front of them. I do think the Commanders are going to have success on the ground, but I think it'll be more of a product of kind of letting them do that as opposed to letting Mariota beat them. I also, though, obviously it wouldn't be a bad idea just to stack the box and make Mariota beat you with his arm. But the thing is Cliff Kingsbury's offense this year, he's doing a lot of different things really well. They've got a really good screen game, and he's sequencing play calls like the screen that they called a couple weeks ago where they had Austin Eckler, or sorry, it was a flea flicker. And, typically on a flea flicker, you're going deep, right? Well, they had Austin Eckler fake a block and then leak out into the flat, and that was their primary read as opposed to going deep. And it completely fooled the Ravens defense. And then right after that, they married up a play where they faked the screen to Eckler because that's where the defense thought it was going, and boom, hit Terry on a slant for like 25 yards. So Cliff's been in his bag this year so far. He's been sequencing plays really well. So the Bears are just going to have to be really disciplined. They can't fall for the eye candy, and they're just going to have to rely on reading their keys a lot this week. But I do think the Commanders' run game is going to have success. But now whether or not that means translates into a win is a different story. But it's really hard to stop this ground game.
Guys, we're joined by Evan Winter from A to Z Sports, talking Bears football here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Your thoughts then? Who do you think give me your prediction on the game? I mean, it's a tough one. Not your team, but the Washington Commanders are in first. Bears are in last, but in the toughest division in the NFL. Give me your thoughts. How do you see it playing out?
Like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and go with the assumption that Jaden's not playing. It just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. And even if he does play, he's going to be limited. He's just not going to be the same guy. And going back to the Brian Robinson injury, just based off how the Commanders handled that, I think they're going to handle this the same way. But I think the Bears are going to win. Now, let me just say this. Let me be loud and clear. Been covering this team since January. I had them pegged for 6 wins on the season. Obviously, unless something just goes awfully wrong, they're going to get well past that point, especially with the way their division is looking. But I have still had a pretty good beat on them throughout the season. Had them losing to Baltimore, obviously had them losing to Tampa when they lost. And I did have them losing to New York, but was wrong on that. Still, I think the Bears pull this off, just mostly because the Washington defense is still a major question mark. Like I said, they play good. They play well as a whole, but you can pick your spots and you can exploit your spots if you're doing things the right way. I think the Bears are going to do that. And I think Marcus Mariota, what we saw last week, was more of a byproduct of catching the Panthers off guard than anything. It's Marcus Mariota. It's Marcus Mariota at the end of the day. He's not what we saw last week. I think the Bears are going to get it at the end of the day.
What do you think? Give me a score, ballpark figure.
I'm going to go 27-13. I think they'll handle business pretty well.
So the Bears will hold them under 21 points at the 13th game in a row, huh?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, because like I said, I just don't. With the Commanders' receiving core, like I said, they're kind of like the defense. That they have their roles, like Diami's the deep threat. Luke's the underneath guy. Terry's the all-around guy. Zach Ertz has been kind of over the middle guy. He's been kind of that reliable veteran. But they've all got ceilings, and they don't have very high ceilings. And the Bears' defense obviously plays very well as a group. It's got special players at premium positions. I think it's just going to be too much for the Commanders to overcome at the end of the day, especially Mariota.
All right. My prediction similar, but I think the Bears win 30-13. Two field goals. I had a little. I think this team gets to 30 points again. As this team progresses, they're starting to open up a little more. Caleb's looking a lot more comfortable. Offensive line is settling in. The run game is getting very dominant. And the biggest thing for me is his diversity. 7 receivers last game, 6 the week before, 8 the week before. He's finding guys, man. And then his increase, the improved pass percentage, completion percentage against the blitz. So if you're talking about them having to bring people, well, Caleb his knowledge of the blitz, his ability, one, his ability to see it, 2, his ability to get the ball to the person that can really exploit that defense is starting to get really, really, really good, really, really, really fast. And that's bad news for a lot of people in a lot of people on our schedule. All right, because if he's able to do that, remember, for me, my biggest question was, when is this offense going to click? And if this offense, as soon as it clicks with this defense, man, it's going to be something else. So I say the Bears win 30-13. Again, as well as they hold their 13th opponent for under 21 points, 13 consecutive opponents. So it's going to be a good one. I'm excited. I'm fired up. I love the fact that it got flexed. That's dope. You get the Bears. Getting the Bears in prime time is what the NFL needs. Like Madden said, the NFL is just better when the Bears are good, and I don't know why. It just is.
Yeah, man. And I mean, something that we haven't even mentioned yet is them coming off the bye week too. They've had a complete extra week. They've had all this time to rest and prepare. It's just really hard to see the Commanders winning this game at the end of the day, even though they've been extremely impressive. And it's not taking anything away from them. It's just tough seeing them win this game. And if you look to the elite teams that they've played, the Bengals aren't elite. Let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. Not this year. They're not elite. And not even elite, just the better teams that they've played. The Bucs and the Ravens, those are the 2 better teams that they've played on their entire schedule. They lost to both teams. And even though the Ravens game was pretty close throughout, it's still the Ravens pretty much had that game. So yeah, they're just not there yet. I think Dan Quinn is definitely in the lead for Coach of the Year. I think LaFleur is right behind him. Because just considering on preseason expectations, the overall rosters, so on and so forth. But yeah, it's just so hard to see them win this game.
Evan, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it. Do me a favor though, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Yeah, A2Zsports.com. That's where you can find all of us, just broken to college. So if you're a fan of college, go ahead and check that out as well. And you can find me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at Evan_A2Z.
Great stuff, buddy. I appreciate your time, man. We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. Have a good weekend.
Likewise. Bear down.
Yes, sir.
Guys, that's Evan Winter from A to Z Sports. Man, 2 hours is come and gone. I want to thank Evan Winter for coming on, talking Bears football with your boy. I also want to say thank you to Kelsey Nicole Nelson for coming on, talking Bears with your guy. Guys, have a phenomenal weekend. The World Series starts. The Bulls play tonight. The Blackhawks play tonight. The Bears play on Sunday. A lot of sports. Get it in. Your local high school teams are playing this weekend, so make sure you get it in. Have a phenomenal weekend. It's going to be a little nippy, but that's all right. So for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, guys, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Have a phenomenal weekend. Remember, let your loved ones know you love them. All right? Send them a text, voice memo. Meet them up for brunch tomorrow. Meet them up for the Bears game. Go to a bar or something, meet up. But let people know you love them because, man, as we all know, tomorrow is not promised to any of us. So for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, guys, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. I have a phenomenal weekend because I am out.